For the last few days, I've been reading a book called The Haters by Robyn. The main character, Cameron, is a high school counselor, but she's also a debut author. She has just published her first book and she is super excited. She always wanted to be a writer, and Burnt Orchid, which is her book, is something that she's been working on for a couple years now. So this entire thing is a really big deal for her. She feels a little bit like she's at the start of making some of her dreams come true. Unfortunately for Cameron, when the book is released, she gets an email from someone with some extremely nasty comments and accusations about her, criticizing her for using her students' experiences, since she is a counselor for kids, in order to create entertainment for people, I guess, even though Cameron worked really hard not to do things like that. And she knows these accusations are baseless, but she kind of lets it get to her. She's told not to respond, but when that same person starts to post nasty reviews online and their comments lead to a bunch of other people jumping in to give her super low ratings and to accuse her of a lot of things that might lead to ruining her entire career, both as a writer and as a school counselor, Cameron starts to take it really, really personally and tries to figure out what is going on. And she makes the mistake of trying to respond to them and doing a lot of things that I guess everyone tells her she really shouldn't do, because it just encourages, what she calls the haters online and a lot of the abuse that she suffers. But this eventually escalates to her own life actually being in danger. So this story follows the escalation of all these events, and then it's also tied into other things that are happening in her life, which are starting to fray and fall apart because of all this negative publicity and her own negative emotions. It causes her to re-examine all of her relationships. She's starting to be kind of distanced from everybody in her life because she's there's just so much suspicion and fear involved. And then there's stuff going on in counseling, where there was this student who was badly victimized by her classmates, also using social media and online methods. And then criticism from jealous quote unquote friends and so on. Anyways, so something I think this book does well is to showcase the damage and the out of control nature that a lot of these online attacks can have on people. I mean, it's a pretty real problem, especially in the upcoming generations, and it really shows how it can one seemingly small incident can really spiral entirely out of control and cause real world damages to people and their relationships. So it does a really good job of showcasing that. Unfortunately, it doesn't really give you any advice because the story is actually more focused on young adults, I guess, and their social issues like bullying and so on, than it is about online safety. Something I did not like. So this book is technically written in first person, but it also has interspersed sections from her book, Burnt Orchid, strewn throughout it. I did not like this because her book is the kind of book that I actually would actively avoid like the plague. As a type of story that I don't like to read. So after the first section where I determined this, I skipped them all. So even if, I suppose it may have tied in with the young adult plotline, but because I'm not interested, it just kind of made the story shorter, and I didn't really like that it was mixed in.